What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wholesale Fridays, our weekly episode. Maybe not so weekly recently, but I'm back here live with Jonah after some vacations and stuff to hop on here, answer any questions you guys have about Amazon wholesale specifically, or just selling on Amazon if you're just getting new. But if you guys haven't seen Jonah before, anything like that, very legit wholesale seller in the space, makes a lot of good content, that kind of stuff. 50 million in lifetime sales as well, working direct with brands. So yeah, let us know what questions you guys have as you're diving on in here. And yeah, any changes recently in like how you're doing business or anything? I know it's been a second since we've chatted on stream here.
Not really. Same stuff. I mean, you know how it is. Every stage of the business, you run into kind of similar pain points, right? You either run out of suppliers and profitable products or you run out of money to spend on them. So, like, I've kind of been in the position for a while of needing more capital because obviously, as a wholesaler, like, you find a brand, you need a purchase order, it just continues to cost more. So, even when you're doing really well, there's times of the business where cash is tight, can't really even restock fully what you want to. So being more strategic with who you work with, I think that's something with any Amazon seller and any part business model, like that 80-20 rule, thinning out your catalog. Once you have hundreds and hundreds of ASINs, like, some of them are pulling weight and others are kind of just dragging behind. So being smarter there.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you're starting to cut some of those that maybe make you, $100 a month or $50 a month, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bummer on some of the things too, because it is just bandwidth. So it's just like not restocking it, even though it could and should be restocked. But it's like we're only gonna buy, 12, 24 units of it compared to these other ones that sell 1,000 units a month, So figuring out that split.
For sure. Do you have a number? Because I know for a lot of like online arbitrage sellers, a lot of people get to the point where it's like, if I'm not gonna make like $100 on a product, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, is there a number for your business now?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good number. So I have partners with a lot of the things I sell too. So I think of my numbers needing to be more inflated than a lot of people. Like
Sure.
if you're a one man show and you have no partners, low overhead, you don't have a prep center warehouse, like you're running it yourself, your numbers are going to be a lot different than other sellers like myself, right? So we still have like some metrics that I think are on the lower side, but it's all about if it's easy to purchase, the process was easy. Like, sure, if it's making, $200 a month, we'll still do it as long as it was just another add-on to the purchase order. It wasn't like we only went to buy that one SKU. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of how I feel a lot about those types of products. Like, so when you're not the one like prepping the product or like, I guess the only real work you're doing like as you scale is probably like repricing it. That's like the only real work you're putting into it. So I'm not
And
like,
if you have a team and
yeah,
VAs,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We'll sell some things that makes like $50, like whatever. Like, I mean, $50 I didn't have, like I'm not going to have to do more work myself. Like,
right.
no big deal
And
there.
like it's a numbers game, right? So that's why even for our scale and having partners and overhead and everything, like if it makes $100, but it's one ASIN and there's like an unlimited amount of ASINs out there, right? So certain people's business, they might only make $100 per ASIN, but they have thousands and thousands of ASINs. Other people, they have a core group of products, they make a solid earnings there. So we're figuring it out for ourselves too. Like, you want to stay diversified because obviously if one distributor cuts you off or one brand cuts you off or whatever that may be, even just with arbitrage, you go to one retailer if you're only relying on one place to get your products. If they don't have them that month, like you're out of luck. So it's always good to diversify. Even with what we're doing, we're very cash constrained, but still looking for new partners all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to emphasize. Like a lot of people are looking for like, I want to have 5 products and they all make me $10,000 a month. Well, like, all right, what happens if one of your products goes away or 3, right? Like, I feel like maybe, 5 years ago when you could just list anything and like it would stay up forever. You could like make your own listings, that kind of stuff. Like that could have been the move, but kind of as like we've evolved, especially kind of what you're talking about, like I don't mind selling a lot of different things more
Yeah.
work to manage. But then you get that email like, hey, this listing shut down. It's like, okay, there goes 2% of my profit this month rather than 20.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're building out the system that can do so,
Yeah.
like the system is, it doesn't matter what the ASIN is, what category, like as long as it hits these metrics, I can buy it profitably, resell it. If it's there for 1 month or 6 months or 12 months, like once we're going to ride it as long as possible, but you're currently finding others to replace it too.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. Couple of you guys in here today. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Pack. Let's see. You said you're from Dallas. How'd you recommend finding good wholesale suppliers here?
Yeah, so big cities like that, there's always going to be a good amount of opportunities around you.
Nice
So
built-in advantage. Yeah.
yeah, advantage for sure. So some of the things still work to this day. So like local proximity, Google Maps. So any distributors in your area, just searching on Google, you'll find a good amount of them there. I always like to connect with those people locally and personally because you're going to make more connections. So like don't cold email them. If I was you, I'd call them, or even better, show up in person. Like you're going to build relationships, rapport, maybe get access to pricing that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. So that's like the big thing with wholesale. A lot of the times it's not a secret like what suppliers to go to or what brands there are. It's just that that seller has a better relationship than you do on the outside. So go on Google, look at people close to you. Depending on how well versed you are with Amazon, I don't know if you're selling or not, but even tools like Seller Amp and Smart Scout will help you find opportunities that then you can reverse source and try to find them. So local to you with Google, and then reverse sourcing, finding what's already on Amazon and what other wholesale sellers are selling. So you can always just look at people's storefront, reverse source, and see what kind of brands are people selling. And then whether you go direct to the brand to open an account or find an authorized distributor for that brand, it's just good ways to find access to more products.
For sure. Yeah, you could go long. I made a video, I think a couple days ago. There's a new advanced search on Seller Amp. You can kind of filter down and specifically find some of those like brand opportunities, right? So you go to that local distributor and they sell, I don't know, the typical example is they'll sell like, you go to your distributor and they're obviously going to have a great price on Dove and Sony, right? That's what Instagram wants you to think. But you throw Dove in there, right? And you see all the best things that are in Dove, and you give them a couple ideas and kind of go from there. Let's see. Will Seller Amp include the fuel charge? Yeah, of course. Of course. Yep. Always will display the correct fees and stuff for you. Yeah, just in case you guys are out of the loop on that. Fees 3.5% increase there. It's like it'll average out at about 17 cents a unit. Are you guys planning on changing anything, or how are you going to react to that?
No, just kind of waiting. I did see Amazon said it was going to be temporary, but I honestly doubt that. So we're kind of
they're keeping it. Yeah, they're keeping it.
we're kind of just assuming. So with anytime we have those brands where we're able to try to raise pricing, like year over year, I'm trying to raise our retail price a little bit, especially for the stuff we're advertising for and helping them grow. Like whenever Amazon hits us with fees, it helps because we can honestly like get a little bit of that back based on raising retail price.
For sure. See, you're starting OA next week. Sounds good. Yeah, get after it. It's a good place to kind of start there. Somebody's asking ungating Pokemon. Anywhere you can buy legit products, right? I know a lot of people are always hung up on ungating and stuff. So you can go like auto ungate a bunch of things on Boxem. Just like click the ungate button, you'll get a big list of ungates. And then things like Pokemon, you'll submit an invoice for. Just buy from obviously if you're buying from a legit distributor or buying directly from the brand, like Jonah does, it'll be nice and easy. Buy from retailer, that will work as well. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about last time, you're still seeing like having to submit multiple times for ungating, even like with LOAs from the brand, right? Like it's just kind of like random review right now.
Yeah, honestly, ungating is just part of the game. Like for any model, unless you're doing private label and own the brand, like even for the brand direct guys like me, we still have like authenticity issues, complaints from customers that like we need to fight it with our paperwork and it doesn't get accepted. So you got to follow up, or, you're working with an authorized distributor, but the invoice doesn't work for ungating. So you got to try like, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So it happens. It's part of the process. But like Warner said, it's just like find a supplier that's legitimate and get an invoice from them. And you just have to like continuously try and read back what Amazon tells you. So some of them, it's just an auto deny. And then other times they're going to say like, we're looking for this, this, and that. So you kind of have to, get tricky when you're going ahead to do so.
For sure. Let's see. John in stream, he said, what software do you recommend to help search for online arbitrage? You need to get better. RA is getting old every day. Yeah, retail arbitrage is fun, but like you don't want to be running out to the store forever for sure. Yeah, so you'll just use SellerAmp and Boxem for that. Yeah, so you mentioned some of there's like kind of the Temu version of SellerAmp and Boxem, the softwares you're suggesting there, John. Obviously a little biased, but definitely an improvement for you. Sweet. Yeah. So has there ever been obviously kind of hitting the scale you're at, doing 40, 50 million, was there any like organizational tweak you ever made? I'm kind of curious on like, obviously you got like a warehouse and that kind of thing, like for people they're doing prep out of their house, is there anything that you learned at the massive scale that might help somebody like just move faster?
Yeah, for sure. Like early days, I think there's just certain things you have to get off your desk early. So like prepping and shipping is one of them. I actually still do some now, but it's more just like because I enjoy it, or little things, little eBay shipments
love
here
of the
and
game.
there.
Yeah, that's love of the game.
Yeah, but like in 2020, when we were scaling this thing up, like I still was handling the shipments myself, and I was new to business. Obviously, you learn so much as you go. Like there's certain things that make sense across any model, any business you do, right? Like if you're the founder, your time is very valuable. You should be spending it only on the things that make the most amount of money. Prep is not one of those things. So even if you don't do it in-house, like you can pay a really good prep center $1 per unit and they'll do it for you. So a lot of people don't like to do that because, it's like, oh, $1 per unit, I'm only making $2. But that's kind of the balance you have to decide for yourself, like how much profit you want to take for yourself right now versus how much work you want to do and how scalable you want your business to be. So
do you know what y'all's cost per unit is for prepping yourself in a warehouse?
If I had to guess, it'd be like 25 to 35 cents per, just kind of rough guess.
Yeah, so it's basically like 70 cents a unit is the cost of if you want to run a remote business or like own your warehouse kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it also depends on like bundles versus other stuff too, because like once you are working with brands, you can get access to their brand registry and you don't need to prep the units. So that's like one of the biggest benefits of brand direct wholesale is there's no FN SKUs with the stuff that we get access to their brand registry for. So like, let's say I'm shipping a pallet of shampoo in. A pallet comes in and it's 1,500 units. Well, what used to need prep, now we can just use manufacturer barcode. So like stuff right there saves so much money on like the prep side to where we're really just receiving, doing the shipment in Amazon and forwarding it. So like that's where the in-house makes a big difference. And then also bundles, like we do a good amount of bundles. So I don't know, like a prep center is going to charge you $1.50 for bundle.
Yeah, at least.
Or more. And for us, like it's not that hard to do a bundle, right? So if it makes sense and you can hire somebody for $20 an hour, which is what we did. We just started with one employee helping. And I would recommend anyone doing that. Like it could be somebody in your family, friend, high school buddy, whoever it is. For us, it was the cleaner to our house. She'd come once a month. It was me and my buddies. We'd all rent a house together. And she saw like what we were doing in the kitchen, literally shipping all these products out. This is like mid-COVID. So her work was slow. Like she was not having a lot of work. We were like, yeah, you can come prep these units, I guess. And it just was like light bulb, right?
Yeah.
Like you thought, now I don't have to do that. Somebody else does it. And it's just like one by one, you add a couple more bodies, more space. So if you're just getting started and you don't have a prep center and you're doing it in-house, like, can your sister do it? Can your girlfriend do it? Like find somebody to do it. That's like step one. And then sell more units, like find a way to buy more units.
Yeah, you know somebody that'll put stickers on something for 20, 25 an hour, and it's totally worth it to you.
Dude,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like, that's a good job. Like, the people we have are
yeah,
actually really grateful. Like, if you are finding people who, and it depends where you are, like 20 an hour is too high for a lot of places in the country, right? Like, you could find somebody for 15 an hour. I'm in California, so it's hard to find
yeah.
work at
15 an
that
hour.
rate.
You're living on the beach at 15 an
Yeah,
hour in
and but at
California.
the end of the day, like, they're sitting in a chair, they have a
Yeah,
huge thing of stickers, and they're labeling the units. And like
yeah. You
for
can throw
them,
on a
it's
podcast, no big deal. Like, yeah,
yeah, we
the
were
right type of
actually like
person loves it.
we were too lenient. It's like our people, like, they had Netflix up, and then they were watching on the camera. They'd take like 5-minute breaks to like watch this Netflix scene. We're like, all right, maybe no more Netflix.
Yeah, but how
But the
about
point
podcasts
is,
are cool, guys.
yeah,
Maybe no
podcasts are
TV.
good. The point is, though, like, they respect it because they're grateful for the work, especially if it's somebody who does like manual labor, which a lot of people do for less amount of money. And
Yeah,
for you, you can quantify it in as tangible results. So getting that off your plate is the first and foremost thing. Another thing I think is just broadening your network. So for a lot of people, they don't know what to sell, right? You have to talk to more people. You have to get in more rooms. You have to go to more trade shows, industry shows, just talk to people, because we have a valuable service, even for arbitrage resellers who don't know anything about PPC or yada yada optimization. Like, selling on Amazon is a skill, and a lot of brands don't do that. And if you're able to do that and help them do that, that's how you get in. That's your way in. And so being able to do that and get into more rooms is a really good way of like broadening your network, which ultimately leads you to eventually finding that price sheet that makes sense.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and a lot of you guys are in the comments talking about, wanting to start wholesale and stuff. So if you guys want help directly from Jonah, a $50 million seller at this point, there's a link down below. You guys can reach out and apply, and then they'll help you find your first brand direct account as well. So super cool offer if you guys are like serious about leveling up there. Let's see, a lot of good questions rolling in here. Let's see, John. Yeah, you can use Boxing will handle your COGS, profit and loss, feedback, AI sourcing, that kind of thing. A lot of different things there. Let's see, good question here. How do you know if a wholesale supplier is fake or real?
Yeah, so got to do your research for sure. Just Google them. You'll find quickly if on Google Maps, if they have any sort of Google reviews as a business. A lot of legitimate businesses do. Better Business Bureau is a website which most businesses are.
Do you actually trust that? Because you can buy accreditation.
I just feel like it's better than nothing, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
like step by step. And because like I would say website too, like check a website, but that could contradict a lot of distributors too. Like I have really good distributors who legit, like, the guy's probably 70 years old. He's kind of one of 3 employees, that no website. So it would look sketchy on the outside to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's why there's like certain things that are checks, but it's not always the case, right? So like I could say don't contact anybody from WhatsApp or Telegram, right? But like I talk to some of my vendors in WhatsApp because they're from overseas, and like, so I can't fully say like don't do this and that. If they're fake or real, like what are they selling? What is the price point of it? Like, for example, I've gone through the worst thing I ever dealt with Amazon was my account getting suspended. Exactly what you're dealing with. I bought from a distributor who was not legit. Paperwork didn't add up. Looking back, the products were like a 45% margin, and it was like not brand direct. I'm buying from this distributor. Like,
didn't pass the smell test.
It wasn't like 2 or 3 sales a month. It's like 2 or 3,000 sales a month, right? Like you can find products that are that high margin, but it's not going to be. It's just after a while
you're gonna get one or the other. Yeah,
you kind of see as a seller like what makes sense, what doesn't. Like if you're seeing a product and it looks like 1,000 sales a month, and you're buying from like a wholesaler, and the margin's like crazy good, like what's going on? There's a couple of red flags.
Sure. It's almost like the triangle where it's like it's legitimate, high profit, high volume. It can only be 2 of those things.
Yeah, like is this liquidation? Is it about to expire? Like what's the deal here? So things like that. And then obviously now it sounds so simple, but you can always just ask your supplier. Like you can
Yeah.
legitimately ask, like, hey, are you guys buying this direct? Like, what's the supply chain look like here? And if they're kind of squirmy or they don't want to tell you, like that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I
You're not
understand a
trying to
lot.
get their distributor's phone number, but they should be able to say like, "Oh, we're getting from the
Yeah.
brand," or yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like 90% of people, they won't give you the invoice because they are a distributor, but they're not buying from the brand. Because if they were, why wouldn't they just show the brand invoice,
Yeah.
block out the pricing? Because we don't need to see the pricing. You can block that out. We just need to see that it's a legit supplier. They don't show it because they're not buying from the brand. They're buying from somebody else who's buying from the brand. So they're just like a glorified middleman. So that's where it's like the supplier is they're real and fake, right? Like the product's real, but they are not authorized from the brand to like buy from them and sell to you. So
Yeah.
like something could come up on Amazon and then you're not sure if their invoice is going to pass or not.
Yeah, another good one I'll add on just like verifying suppliers. This works for online arbitrage too. You can look up, just Google like check domain age and then plug in their domain to that. And then if it's like a wholesaler and their domain was made like 2 weeks ago, it's probably not a legitimate wholesaler. So you can just like look and see how long they've been around, like their website itself. You can't spoof that.
Yeah, social media always helps. Like if they
Yeah.
have any social media, if you can get somebody on the phone too, like most companies, a lot of people don't like to have phone calls and everything like that, but like if you have a human voice and you're talking to them, like that's a good sign.
Yep, goes a lot further than an email that they're I can only like suppliers were already getting hammered with emails. Like now you can create a bot that just constantly emails
Yeah.
suppliers all the time. So like I have to imagine email becomes less and less efficient every day.
I think just good email, right? Like it's
Sure,
any type
yeah.
of it's like outreach too, like with social media, right? Like comments on posts, 90% or so are AI bots now too. So like
Yeah,
if you can comment something valuable and it's obviously a human, like that still will stand out.
for sure. Let's see. How do you do a listing for a product, or do you use the brand's listing? So I assume you're only making listings when you're brand registered with the brand, right?
Yeah. So once you're talking with a brand or a distributor, a lot of distributors have access to brands. So, like, sometimes we would open up a distributor account, we'd get the price sheet, and we would see, okay, there's some products that are profitable, they're on Amazon, some are not. And then there's like a group of products that are just not, nothing comes up, right? Like you have the UPC code, but there's no listing. We would go and create listings for those. And you technically still can. Like if you come across a legitimate product, legitimate UPC code, you can go and try to list it on Amazon. But the better way is like what Warner said, is when you're speaking with a brand, you get brand registered and you go and create the listing on behalf of them. So that's what we do with most of our brand partners now. Like if we're working with a brand and they already have a good amount of listings on Amazon, we say like, let's do a 2-pack, let's do a bundle. Like then we go and create that for them and start that new listing.
Cool. Let's see. Do you recommend starting with wholesale or arbitrage for beginners? Yeah. What's your take as a big wholesale seller?
Yeah, arbitrage is the way. I think there's just a natural path for resellers, and I say that because you can, and you don't have to do it for years, right? But like walk into a store and scan a couple products, not even to make money. Like you will make money, but the point is to learn. Like there's a huge learning curve with Amazon. So starting with arbitrage is just an easy, low risk. You don't have to try to sell somebody on why they should work with you or like any cold outreach. Like get an active Amazon seller account, download Seller Amp, walk into a store, scan some stuff, see what you're ungated in. Use Boxem for the auto ungate. Like get ungated in as much stuff as possible. Start to buy a couple units, even if it's very low risk. And then, in my opinion, like have in the back of your mind what your end goal is. So, like, are you trying to supplement your income? Do you want to make like tens of thousands of dollars a month and do wholesale and like
Yeah.
potentially launch your own brand and like have private label? Like, depending on what you want to do, set up your path to go there. So the natural path is like do a little bit of arbitrage reselling, go into wholesale, maybe just open up distributor accounts, do the general reselling, then find some brands you can partner with, like try to get an exclusive deal ideally. And depending on what you want to do, like my goal eventually one day is to have my own private label brands, because I have all these skills of
Right.
helping other brands grow. Like I want to do it for myself. But for me and my timeline, I'm not there yet. So depending on what you want to do,
Sure.
I personally would go that route. If you have a distributor that you already know, like, oh, my cousin's a distributor, like, yes, just ask him for a price sheet, get started, and look that way. But if you're going to start directly with wholesale, don't commit to like really big purchase orders. Like, spend $1,000, buy 10 different items, like start slow, like it is arbitrage anyway.
For sure. Yeah, I like what you're talking about with the goals and stuff too. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I want to make an extra $1,000 a month." Now I'm going to launch a private label product. It's like that is incompatible with your goal. Like you can just
Yeah.
resell some stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's simpler ways to hit your goals depending on like what that end goal is. I
And
like that.
timeline wise, like timeline, I mean, it takes a lot more upfront for that wholesale brand partnership route. So like getting that first partner could take you months. Whereas if you just want to kind of get started and need that proof of concept still, you could buy and resell something like today.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. See another or at least a future California seller here. How do you minimize taxes? Yeah, well, I mean, if you're just talking about OA, I can tell you just get a resale permit with your state and then submit that to whatever websites will accept it. Which is not a super long list for online arbitrage, so you probably want to get a prep center. Like I was kind of in the same boat as you, Q. Like I started in a state with I paid 9.75 sales tax starting out, and you can find some stuff, but obviously you're a little bit at a disadvantage, so you can just use a prep center probably. Let's see. Followed for a couple years. Enlisted in the Marine Corps. That's awesome. You can see much has changed since then. How can you get ungated? So I have videos on ungating. You can watch silent, but we talked about that a little bit as well. Just persistence with invoices from any legitimate supplier, whether it's a retailer, brand direct, or a distributor. Let's see. I know we've talked about this a lot, but what's your rebuttal to we don't want to work with Amazon sellers?
Yeah, so this depends if you're working with distributors or brands. This is normal pushback though. So just understand now, like so many people have heard about selling on Amazon. They've heard about Amazon wholesale. They understand how to find brands and distributors. So like what Warner mentioned earlier, like brands just get contacted a lot, especially via email, because that's the lowest friction, easiest
You can
way to
basically
reach
do it for
out.
free and instantly now too.
Yeah, you can do it free instantly with AI and bots. You can do it in mass bulk. So people are doing it in bulk with no personalization. So like with me and email outreach, and what we say is like you have to personalize any type of outreach you do, whether it's phone call, email, trade show, and that means understanding something about the company before you reach out. So if you're contacting a brand, like what are the pain points of that brand? And how can we potentially help? So is their listing look really poor? Maybe they only have one or two products listed, but their website has a huge catalog of them. Like you can help list all the products, which is a new revenue stream for them. If they're a distributor, like maybe you help buy the stuff that doesn't move as well for them. Because everyone wants the same like 2 or 3 products that are the hot sellers that a distributor or brand carries. So you got to find ways to like get on their radar and not be just a normal Amazon seller, because all the normal Amazon sellers are looking at the same ASINs, the same data. They want to buy the same products. So it's like similar conversations, purchase orders from everybody. We try to find how we can add value. So if you're going to say they don't like Amazon sellers, you need to know why. Like, why don't they?
Yeah.
Is it because they had a bad experience? Is it because they were with an agency and they're kind of misrepresenting you? So you are a wholesaler who's paying them to buy their stuff, right? That seems like a no-brainer. But a lot of them have been burnt by people who were charging a service and doing things that sound good, like all these optimization brands have heard it before, but then the guy didn't know what he was doing. So it's like a lot of people just aren't good at what they do either. So if you can find a
Yeah.
brand that really is a good brand and they just need help like cleaning stuff up, like that's how you get really good case studies. And then when you start winning with more brands online, like it's easier to do outreach.
I almost wonder, you're talking about like, hey, we'll take on the lowest selling things. Within the automation conversation, if you could figure out how to automate finding their worst selling product on Amazon and including that in the email, it's like, hey, we want to buy this product, that the product that is great, right? And it's also
Yeah.
like, but we're also interested in products like this, where you just like your AI is autofilling their worst product and be like, we want to help products like this sell faster too. Like I bet
Yeah.
that improves your response rate insanely.
Well, what I used to do too when we were starting out is I would dress it up, but basically I would say we will advertise for you guys. Like with our channels and everything we're doing, we advertise on behalf of our brands. And it makes sense, right? Because we are buying the inventory, we have stock we need to move. A lot of these brands, Amazon PPC is confusing, or they were kind of burning through their budget, or you have the agency who manages the budget, but you have to pay the agency to do it. So there's just like, it's a lot of costs involved. If you guys don't know what a catch-all campaign is, like that's how I learned PPC. It was like at first, let's just kind of throw everything in here. We'll do a 2-cent bid and see how many sales we can do. And like it will profitably make spend and bid. And like I quickly was getting a good amount of like data back on Amazon ads. And then I've started feeling more confident, like let's do a manual campaign. And you start doing manual campaigns. And I say all this because like that was what we would offer to do for brands. And if you negotiate and you get a 25% margin, gross margin on a product and it looks good, you then have room to advertise on the product too, even if it's just low bid, just kind of testing, playing around.
That can make sense for a lot of the arbitrage sellers watching. I've done that, especially on products where I'm like pretty deeply stocked. You just go, you bid 5-10 cents, pick up some extra sales. Obviously, you can afford to pay 10 cents. Like, to make a sale.
Like, how I like to do it is like it was dressing it up too. Like I'm not an expert at PPC. I have a VA who assists me with it and he's pretty good. But like starting out, if you have a brand that's like an in-demand brand and people want it, it will get clicks and sales because people want that product.
For sure. Sweet. Let's see. Actually, some quality questions here. So let's do a little bit of a lightning round on some good questions here, and then we'll probably go ahead and wrap up. And as a reminder, if you guys want Jonah's help, he'll literally help you find your first brand direct account. You guys can click the link down below if you want to work with Jonah there. Let's see. A couple questions on ungating. So yeah, just buy from any legit source, buy at least 10 units and submit that. Even like if it says a crazy unit requirement, I've still been using 10. I just submit extra times on average, I'd say. You probably have higher success rate if you do buy 10x, but obviously there's risk to that. See, you're having a hard time finding products. How should you find better things? So I assume you're just kind of like getting started. So I would watch the most recent long form video on my channel. That's kind of using some new seller app things, some auto ungating. That's like what I think is probably the easiest way beginners have had to source in years, if not ever, to be honest. Let's see. Here's a wholesale one for you. Say you find the perfect distributor. Will the distributor always carry the money, or do you move on to or carry that product, or do you move on to the next product?
So you found the perfect product that brings you money. Will the distributor always carry that product? So if the distributor always carries it, that's ideal. So that's a replenishable. It's like a replenishable items. I feel like every seller should be looking for those. Like one-offs are not how you're going to build a sustainable business. You want the ones where you find it, you buy from that distributor, and then they have it next month. You can consistently reorder. And then even further than that, you want to have a relationship with them so that they don't go and sell it to everybody. Because you might,
I think they're asking, sorry to interrupt. I think they're asking like how often that happens in your experience as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like percentage wise, how many times do you get to restock the same thing?
No. So the distributors I work with, they're replenishable distributors. They always buy from the brand. So it's not like liquidation. So if you can find, and this is why too, like, I know there's success with big distributors like Kihi and Unify and like, Dot Foods, all the big guys. But I prefer like niche, smaller suppliers. So like smaller niche distributors, smaller niche brands. I don't really sell that many brands a lot of people would even recognize or know, but it's like,
Right.
in the sporting goods category, like that's my thing, right? So the
You only
distributors I
need to be
work
like,
with,
yeah, you only need to be like the guy for a handful of brands until it's a big business.
yeah, yeah. And I like it too because, like, number one, you can add value, you can give insight, you can watch and help them grow their sales. So if you've been with them year over year, because even scaling with FBA, it's a process. Everything costs, it costs to keep everything in stock. The process of, like, dealing with cash flow. So I would say work with distributors and brands that have those replenishables, and so you're not always on to the next.
Yeah. So you paying a lot of sales tax. I mean, you don't need to physically move states yourself. You can just work with a prep center, like I was saying. Yeah. I don't think I've ever lived anywhere with no sales tax. That's why I've always just used a prep center there. Sweet. And we could probably dig in on this for a long time, but I like kind of the last bit there. Like what kind of like, we talk a lot about tactical, but like what kind of, mental shifts did you make kind of going from 7 to 8 figures and hopefully 9 here before too long?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest shifts for me, I was actually forced into it. So, like, when I had gotten deactivated, I wasn't as deep into the brand direct wholesale as I am now. So, like, I was still doing reselling, and I just had to get in front of it with a lot of my suppliers and, like, moving forward. So, like, really taking the position of, like, yo, this is what I do. I'm the Amazon expert. Like, being in front and in charge of this is what I do. Because how am I going to do 50 million, 100 million in sales and not have people like promoting my services, talking about what I do? So really being like finding my one brand and then scaling them further. And so just like committing to that was the biggest thing. And then also doubling down on Amazon. Like I feel like everyone else kind of is like, oh, I use Amazon, for what it is, and I have other things going on, or I won't be here long. I'm just going to sell for a couple years and then go into real estate. Like that was never my position on it. I was like, I want to be selling on Amazon for a really long time. Right. So like,
Yeah.
that's my mindset with it. If I'm going to have that mindset, I have to be good at what I do and then consistently doubling down and getting people wins, because or else you're not going to get to 50, $100 million in sales.
Yeah. I like that. Sweet. Appreciate you hopping on stream today, Jonah. Thanks y'all for bringing lots of good wholesale questions and stuff. We're doing this most Fridays at at 1 p.m. Central. If you guys want to tune in, come ask questions with it, about wholesale and stuff, go check out Jonah's socials. And then again, if you guys want to work with him directly, he'll help you find your first brand direct account themselves. You can click the link down below for the wholesale network program there. So awesome. Appreciate you hopping on here, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.